All right, let me get this thing started. All right, while I wait for people to start rolling in, I'm just going to make sure that things are relatively fine. So I'm just going to take a look at some of the video and the audio, make sure that the mic's working all good and everything. Let's see. All right. Looking kind of crooked over here. Sound okay to me? All right, so I just pulled up the chat. All right, so I sound good. All right. Give me a minute. I'm going to try to just kind of straighten everything up. I will answer your questions in just a second. I'm doing this all from my phone, so things are not as optimal. Let's see, is that the right way? No. How about this way? Will I be using Orca Slicer? I will be using Orca Slicer once there's a profile for this printer available for Orca Slicer. Right now, I don't believe that it is. I think that Orca Flashforge is the only slicer that has a profile for the AD5X. I think that was the last time I checked. But if it's going to be anything like the Adventure 5M, then there will be an Orca Slicer profile. But I am not sure just yet, so I'm just using Orca Flashforge at the moment. And what else? I saw something else here. Locked into Flashforge Orca. Yeah, for right now, it is locked into Flashforge Orca. Mm-hmm. My goodness, I just cannot tell whether or not things are straight. I have to keep looking at the screen. But I tell you while I do this, what I'm going to be doing. So I set everything up and I'm going to show you what you have to do to get this all set up, because it's not really all that difficult. It was easier than I thought it was going to be. So the cool thing about this printer, I just got it today, so there's still a whole lot of things I need to learn about it. But when you want to go set it up, you only have to deal with a total of 4 screws that you have to put in. Only 4 screws. So 2 of the screws go towards connecting the IFS that does all the filament changing to the frame of the printer. It's just 2 little small screws. You mount that in, and then there's other 2 screws, and I'm going to do an individual video so that you can see it up close. There's 2 other smaller screws that you connect to the back of the printer, and it's basically just a retaining clip for this black cable that goes into the IFS. And those are the only 4 screws that you have to deal with this. And as far as removing screws, it's kind of standard. You remove 3 screws from the bed, and that's there to keep it from moving around in transit. And then what I thought was just awesome, on the front where the screen is, if you have the other Adventure 5M, you got the ribbon cable, but the ribbon cable came connected to this already. I didn't really look at it all that much, but it's probably like soldered in there. It was in there really good. And all you had to do, it had this frame piece that was connected to the front. This was connected to it, and the screen was flipped on the opposite side of the frame. So this was bolted to the front, and I had to take out these 4 screws, flip the screen over, and then just put it in its spot, move it over to the left, and then that just snapped it in place. I kind of like that because I don't like messing around with those ribbon cables. They're too fiddly for me. But at the same time, I need to look at it again and see if it's going to be a problem with trying to replace the screen if you ever need to. Let me take a look at some of these questions here. Will it work with the 5M? No, it will not work with the 5M. You have one in the office and last month. Awesome. The extruder is different. It has an internal filament cutter. Yeah. So there are some inherent differences here. The extruder is different. The filament cutter is right here. It's kind of like a Bamboo Lab A1, you know, except it's not. But here's the filament cutter. It's right there. The poop chute is located on the back. And then, you know, this whole back panel is different as well because it has to have the poop chute. And then there's also a place to plug in the IFS directly into the back of this. So maybe that's like a different type of motherboard kind of thing, because I don't know where you would plug the IFS in to the original 5M, especially like this kind of plug. There's nothing like that on the 5M. So I don't think that that would work. And even if it could, it might be cost prohibitive because it might cost you more to get the parts and swap out everything than it would be just to get this, or it'll be too close for it to really be, you know, like worth it. Shame it looks a little smaller. It does look a little smaller, but the build volume is the same. But yeah, it does look a little bit smaller. That's something that I noticed too. Another thing is, let's see, let me turn this so you guys can see. All right. So you see like these 4 spool holders here, and some of them have that little red clip on the end. They actually provided in the box 4 of these little clips here, and these look 3D printed. Out of what, I'm not sure, but I thought it was considerate because it's there to keep spools that have like a larger diameter in the middle from like falling off of the spool holder. So while these cardboard spools have a pretty tight grip on there, some of these plastic ones that are a little bit bigger, they wobble. So they just have these that you just slide right in, just like, let's see if I can do it from this side. Yep, just like this. And it just kind of keeps it in place. I thought that was a very nice touch for that. Let's see. Can't wait until you can get one. I can't wait until you can get one too. From what I understand, the people who ordered from Flashforge's website back late last year when this first came available, I believe that those are starting to ship out. But right now, I don't think that you can actually like buy one. Like they're trying to get the ones that people already bought out to them before trying to put it out for all new buyers. Even some folks who order from Amazon got their orders canceled. This showed up on Flashforge's eBay store a few days ago, and people ordered from there, and some of those got canceled as well. So I guess they're just trying to take care of the first batch of customers first. Yeah, likely another month or 2. Yeah, probably. Let's hope they can just get it done as fast as possible. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this for a while, myself included. So yeah, here is a look at the spool holder because they put 5 in the box, even though the instructions said that it's only going to be 4. But here is what the spool holder looks like. Let me flip my computer screen over so I can take a look. Can you guys see that? I think you might be able to. Yeah. So this is the spool holder. It goes down just like this. They're numbered as well. This one is not numbered, so I guess it's just a spare in case one of yours, you know, happens to break. This little part here, it moves. It's got like these rubberized grips right here to kind of keep a firmer grip on the filament. And you do have to make sure that you have the right numbered spool corresponding to the spot where it's supposed to go. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And they say that because of different like retraction distances and stuff like that. So it's advised not to mix them up. I always thought it was kind of weird how it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. In my brain, it should just go from left to right, but you know, whatever. But that's the way that it goes. And then when you want to hook up the IFS, really simple. It literally just twists on. Once you have it mounted, and again, I did a video where I'm going to show you all of this. This literally just twists on and twists off. And then these tubes here, they just fit very snugly right into the very top of the unit. And then it runs to, I'll flip this around, flips around to the front where the print head is. And then you're just putting it right down into the middle of the print head. I mean, there's no like hardware that you have to do. It's just really easy. This part right here was separate. So I just took it, stuck it right down in there. Easy peasy, job is done. Let me catch up on the chat here. Is it the same structure that even serves the original enclosure system with some minimum variation due to the lateral filament supports? Yeah, it definitely does look like the same structure for the most part, although I honestly don't know how an enclosure would work with this, like a printable enclosure. I don't know. I'm not a designer, so you know those things elude me, but just by virtue of all of this right here, I don't know how you would enclose this side. Maybe that's just part of the plan for the Guider 4 Pro that should be out this year, that will be enclosed, that will have the IFS, and it will have a larger build volume. And I believe that that replaces whatever the 5M Pro would have been. Let's see here now. Community, get it done quick. I hope so. I've been looking for to see if there was any mods. I've only been able to find one mod so far, and that's for the poop chute on the back. Someone said that because the poop chute is in the back, you got this against the wall, it's hard to access. So they designed something that they connected to the back with magnets to make the filament go down the tube and go to like the left or go to the right, most likely the right. I am going to print that eventually. Actually, it might be one of the first things that I do print on this, just so I can catch the filament poop. And I do have a little bit of poop, filament poop, right here, just red and gray. The filament color on this thing is loud. I am going to print some quick things on here in a couple of colors so we can take a look at it and we can see if it fails. I find it strange that they don't have loads to sell and ship straight away at launch. The whole process has been kind of weird because it was supposed to be out late last year, and then they found this issue with the poop chute with flexible filaments and like TPU, and then they held it back. And ironically, if you look on the website right now for Flashforge, last time I checked, they make no mention of TPU anymore, like multicolor printing in TPU. It's not there, but it was there when they first announced it. So that was very interesting to me. But they sent me a couple of rolls of their TPU, so I'm still going to use it. And TPU still is mentioned in the online instruction manual, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Let's see, paper launches are getting quite annoying. Yeah. You're upset that I got a 5M like 2 weeks. They announced this multicolor. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, man, these cycles are like yearly cycles. You got to be prepared to fall behind eventually, because it definitely is going to happen. All right, so let me see. What else do I have to tell you about this? The setup process, the automatic everything when it starts up, I believe that took about 8 minutes. 8 minutes from when I started it up, put in my Wi-Fi information, and then it heated up. It did the auto leveling, it did the vibration compensation, and that whole process took like 8 minutes, and that was pretty quick. So that was awesome. And then when it comes to loading up the filament, it was also very simple. It can automatically sense the filament as you put it into the bottom of the IFS, and it just automatically starts to pull everything in. You do have to kind of hold the filament up there while it's kind of revving up so that it can just grab it just in case the filament slips a little bit. But it's really easy to operate here. All right, so let's say we get a little test print going and I can just talk over it. So there's a couple things that I sliced in Orca Flashforge, and we're just going to see how it turns out. So let me know, what thing would you like to see first? I want to print Ben Heck's Heck clip. That is basically a clip that you use to put on your potato chip bags, and I found it to be really awesome. I printed one of those like a year or two ago and I'm still using it and I need another one. That will be in one color, takes about 20 minutes. Or we can print a Mass Effect N7 keychain, and that's also going to take a little bit over 20 minutes, but that one is going to be in 3 colors for black, white, and red. So which one would you like to see first? But I got to print this whole time. Like, I literally just got this like 3 or 4 hours ago. So I printed one thing from here, and it was just the, it's like this little coin with the Flashforge logo on it. Let me see if I can just bring this a little bit closer. I used this Sunlu white PLA for the top, and the white PLA is kind of translucent, so it's not that full white that it should be. So I'm not really liking it, but here it is. I didn't do anything to it. I'm not too thrilled with this, to be honest. So I'm turning this so that I can see what's going on. If you guys can. So, you know, it's definitely not the prettiest multicolor print that I have ever seen, but this is only the first one. We're going to see what else happens. On the back, it was a really good first layer though. It's got that textured PEI sheet. So, you know, you got that texture, that pattern there. Quite smooth, very good. But just this whole logo here, it was kind of good, but then, you know, like in round at the bottom, it got a little bit scratchy, gnarly, kind of funky. I don't know. So we're just going to see how things work out with some other prints that were not pre-sliced already on the printer. The bent head chip clip. Okay, keychain. So we got keychain, Mass Effect keychain. All right, so yeah, we got keychain. No, not quite related to the stream, but what is the main brand of filament you use and where do you buy it from? That's a good question. The main filament I use, I think eSun is probably the filament brand that I use the most, mostly because they tend to be the cheapest. Actually, these 2 rolls that I have on here now, you can get them on Amazon for $11.99. This is the light gray color and black for $11.99. They also have red and they also have blue for $11.99, and that's pretty darn cheap. It's a high-speed variant of the Filament 2, and I use it on this and I use it on the A1. I've always just been happy with it, so I guess that would be the main brand. The keychain is the winner. All right, so let's get this started. N7.mf. We got here is 22 minutes, 52 seconds, auto leveling and enable the IFS. I'm going to hit next. It confirms whether you have the right filament in the right spots. So here it's like you need white filament. So I'm just going to hit white. So white on white. Down here, black, black on black, red, you get the picture, red on red. So you have to kind of confirm that. All right, let's print. Here we go. Going to run through the entire process. And I'll bring the camera closer to the print so that you don't have to look at me and you can just look at the print the whole time. Okay. And with me standing so close to it, maybe you'll also be able to hear the filament cutting process, which is pretty aggressive. It's loud. It is loud. And it is kind of intimidating. It feels like if you get your finger in there, it'll cut it clean off. It won't, but it's pretty strong. And I was looking at the poop as it flies out the back. It flies out the back pretty darn forcefully as well, too. So that's fun. So it's just heating up right now. And as much as I would love for you know, everything to go swimmingly, and it's just like the perfect live stream, everything printed out wonderfully. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, it is what it is. I don't work for Flashforge. It'll just be some good feedback for them if things don't work out. When the machine switches color, are you able to use the extra filament to print another object instead of wasting it as poop? Yeah, there is the purge into object or purge into infill option that's in Orca Flashforge, because it's basically Orca Slicer, just a little bit behind. But yeah, you can do that if you're printing multiple multicolor objects and you just don't want to just constantly waste it. You can redeem some of that just by purging it into another object. So you have to put the filaments in certain places for it to match the sliced file. When you're looking on the screen, it really doesn't matter where you place the filament. It's just when you go over to the screen, you have to just tell it that you have, well, okay, let me just say this. You have to tell it what color filament you have in there before you start printing. That way it already knows. And then once you start printing, you just basically have to tell it for the white portion, you click the white filament. For the red, whoa, did you hear that? Jesus. For the red, you click the red. For the black, you click the black. If you're going to slice it directly from the computer, it also lets you confirm the color filament that you already have loaded to correspond with the colors that you want the print to be. So it's just kind of like a backup, a fail-safe, so that you can get the colors right. I have not tried TPU yet. I'm actually drying it right now. I'm gonna try TPU tomorrow. There'll be a video about that. What do you mean it won't? Does it mean you gave it a try for our sake? I'm not sure what you mean. I don't remember what I said. Has to be a way to get a sound effect or something being chopped or screamed when it cuts in. That would be funny. This does have this startup sound, kind of like the 5M did, except it's a little more annoying. So I did make sure I turned that off. All right, now we're on to the leveling. I got the standard 5M because of your videos actually. Then I got a Bamboo Lab A1 for the AMS. Then they announced this. So typical, I should have just waited. It always happens. Thank you for the compliment, Sergio, on the videos. I appreciate it. You set yours up yesterday. It was more difficult than the 5M Pro to set up. Oh yeah, definitely, man. The 5M Pro was pretty much ready to go right out the bat. You know, just removing the screws and putting the spool holder on. That was pretty much all you needed to do. Also notice on the Flashforge site right now, there doesn't appear to be any additional accessories that you can buy, such as nozzles. So it's just kind of barren. So hopefully they can get more accessories or spare parts or whatever up on the site, so that we can start looking at that and experimenting with those different nozzle sizes at least. I couldn't get the first venture to print, and eventually I figured out it didn't like the filament that I had in the first slot. Once switched the filament to a different brand, it worked. Are the nozzles the same as the 5M Pro? Nope, they are different. They're supposed to be more affordable as well. And the nozzle design is a lot more closer to like the Bamboo Lab A1. Once you take off the front part of this print head, it's connected with magnets, and then there's basically clips. You just unlatch it, take the whole assembly out, stick another one in there, latch it back up together. And I forget how much less expensive they said it was going to be, but it shouldn't be like $35 for a new nozzle assembly anymore, and that is good. The motor does, it does sound a little bit rough, doesn't it? It's something that I noticed as well. The 5M sounds a lot more smoother, like it's, you know, like it's got a little bit more grease on it or something. I don't know. But yeah, this one does sound more mechanically, you know, a lot more clicks and clanks. I noticed that as well. Though it's a lot more frustrating to get my first print going, I was really impressed with the quality of the print. I hope I'm impressed with the quality of this N7 keychain, because we are about to see how this works together. Can we see one if it came with a spare? It did not come with a spare nozzle. It didn't come with everything. Well, I don't want to say that because I haven't found it yet. There's a couple of things that the manual says that is going to come with that it didn't, that I haven't found at least. It was a glue stick and lubrication. I looked through the little styrofoam packaging. I couldn't find it, but that wasn't in there. But at the same time, this extra spool holder was in there, and that was not mentioned in the list of things that come with it either. It didn't say it came with a spare. So I don't know. And it also came with these 4 sample rolls of filament. I was going to try using these, but these make me nervous because they can get tangled so easily, and I didn't want to have to keep nursing it and trying to make sure it doesn't tangle. So I'll just leave these to the side and hydrate. All right, so we should be getting started in a minute. The purge line is in the back this time. It's not in the front. And by default, they have the default temperature for the hot end. I didn't change anything. I'm just running with their default profiles. 215 on the hot end and 60 on the bed, which is 5 degrees less than it usually is on the hot end. I usually do things at 220, but we're going to see how it works. This is the standard setup, no mods. I got this probably about 3 or 4 hours ago. Extra spool holder, but no number 6 hardened nozzle. No hardened nozzle. The 5M didn't come with a hardened nozzle either, but the 5M Pro did. It came with a 0.4 and a 0.6. Mine was the same, had no glue, but the extra spool holder. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. Is there a cover on the filament changer in case the filament breaks inside? Is there a cover on the filament changer? Okay. You know, I don't know. I haven't really looked into that. I didn't have to put any cover on, but there are four like tiny screws that you use with an Allen wrench that's on the back, and there's like a little seam along the side. So you can take this back part off, and it also looks like this front part. It has a little seam here as well. Does it go around the side? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that, but you can definitely take the back panel off. I'm not sure about the front. But yeah, that is a very, very good question because that can happen. That actually happened on my A1. I had to take basically the part that was inside the print head. I had to pop that off because there was a piece of broken white filament in there and it wouldn't let me print. And I was kind of scared, like, what the heck is going on? But it eventually worked. What's going on, guy? Are you not printing? All right, so we're at 214 out of 215. Is it purging? It's probably purging. I can smell the filament. Okay, yeah, I can hear it. Okay. Thank you so much for your videos on the Flashforge. My son bought one and your videos have helped so much. Awesome, thank you. Thank you very much. Got your 5M Pro today. You can say that coming from an Ender 3 is night and day. Oh my God, it's a different planet, isn't it? I'm looking at my Ender 3 right now, right over there, isolated to the corner. I actually brought out the Ender 3 several months ago because I just felt like going back in the past, and I was going to print like this this kit card. It was for like a Star Wars droid or something. And I think my Ender 3 suffers from heat creep. So it was printing just fine, and then it was just printing in the air. And at that point I was like, you know what, now I know why I put you in the garage. So I just stopped, and that was it. Still waiting on the print to start. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it should have started by now. Is it trying to... It sounds like it's trying to pull some filament in. Oh, is it not pulling it in? It seems like it's trying to pull the black filament in, but it's not really wanting to take. There we go. You know, that's interesting because this is a brand new spool for this black filament. And it seemed like for some reason in the very beginning, like it wasn't strong enough to, Jesus Christ. It felt like it wasn't strong enough to pull this this cardboard spool. Like I needed to push the filament more so in there. It's rotating now though. But yeah, it did need help in the beginning. Always good to see these things happen in real time. So I'm kind of wondering if some spools would just work better with this, you know, like if it's more lightweight. I don't know. There's the other poop. This is the black poop. Helped you out on your AD5. You're very welcome. Thank you. Hard decision this on this or the Centauri Carbon. We are off to the races now. It was having trouble pulling this black cardboard spool of eSun filament, so I just had to give it a little extra. But it's going now. Is there any AMS units that will integrate with the 5M unit? To my knowledge, no. There are like some third-party, more open source, multicolor filament systems, but I don't know how well that would integrate with the 5M or not. Let me bring the camera closer so you guys can see the print in progress. All right. I can only get so close. You ain't gonna be able to see it too good from there. But it's really the best that I can do because I can't put this on the table and look down. And since this is a pretty flat print in the first place, I don't think we're gonna be able to see it all too good. Actually, let me do this. Since I am using a phone, let me just take you off of this. I'm thinking I'm still using a regular camera. I'll just show you this real quick here. It's kind of hard to see how that first layer is going down. I will answer your questions in a moment. Just wanted to try to see this first layer as best we can. There's a good look at it. All right, so now it's taken off. All right, putting you back on the tripod. There we go. I'm also kind of racing against the clock here, guys, because I'm using, the microphone is plugged into the USB-C port on my phone, so I can't charge my phone at the same time that I'm using the mic. So if the phone wants to die, I'm going to have to unplug the mic in order to keep the live stream going. So that kind of sucks, but I'll see what I can do about that. All right. It just does not sound like it's built to quality. The machine just sounds like it's going to fall apart. Some parts do sound a little bit rough, yeah. Unrelated to the printer, when should one use the glue on the print bed? So usually when you use glue on the print bed for certain filaments, such as the like ABS, if you're going to print with ABS, that likes glue. Nylon likes glue. Some people say that glue is just used as a release agent and it doesn't actually help things stick to the bed. But when I've had trouble with things that just kept coming off the bed, I would use glue and it would work. So that's what I would say. All that technology and you don't have a travel battery. No, it's not because of travel battery. You see, my microphone, the way that you can hear me is that the part of the mic is plugged into the USB-C port of the phone, and then that communicates wirelessly to the mic that's connected to my chest. And it's not Bluetooth. So the only way that I can use this mic with the phone is if it plugs into my phone's port, USB-C port. I wouldn't be in this mess if the headphone jack was still a thing, but it is what it is. What I might end up doing if I have to, I just got some earbuds. I'll just put the earbuds in. I'll have to use the mic from the earbuds in order to do it. You have to use glue for TPU prints so the print will release. Is there a pro version or enclosed print yet? Not yet. The Guider 4 Pro is going to be coming out this year, and that would be the enclosed version of this printer with a larger print volume of 300 millimeters cubed. So to me, it's the 5M Pro version of this, but bigger. I honestly don't think that the 5M Pro is going to have a like straight up successor. I do think that the Guider 4 Pro will replace the 5M Pro, because I really don't see a reason for them both to exist. Sorry if I missed it, but do you plan on opening up the rear panel and examining the main board to see the differences? I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, I can definitely do that. See if there's any differences back there. It looks like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 6 screws holding this thing on. So yeah, I can do that. Oh, and also there's an Ethernet port back here as well. I don't think I mentioned that, but it is an Ethernet port. And if you are, you know, kind of feeling uneasy about, you know, like cloud related stuff, Flashforge does have its own cloud thing if you want to use it. You don't have to though. This does have a LAN mode. You can just use the LAN mode and print over your local LAN if you want. So, you know, if you don't want the prying eyes to be in your business, you can restrict it in a way. Is it printing a purge tower? Yes, it is printing a purge tower. It is enabled by default in Orca Flashforge. You can turn it off if you want, but yeah, it is printing a purge tower. But one thing that I noticed, like for HueForge, if you like HueForge prints and you want to do it in their full size, normal size, which is like 200 millimeters all around, I saw that you can't do that with this printer if you're using the purge tower, because the purge tower will be way too close to the print. So you have to shrink the print to like 90% scale on the X and 90% on the Y, just so that the purge tower will have a place to go. Otherwise the two overlaps, and that sucks. And that's why I really wish that this printer's print size was bigger. This 220 is small. It's not, I mean, it's, for most things it's been fine for me, but just as far as competition goes, I really do believe that it needs to be bigger. It needs to be bigger. But it's too late now. Do you find the red clips for the spool holders to hold the filament to be useful? I thought they were kind of unnecessary. I'm not sure how useful they are for like right now. I would rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them, because I have experience on the Bamboo Lab A1. I put some filament spools on there that I thought were pretty well secured that ended up falling off entirely. And if I had something to block it, it wouldn't have happened. So I'm just glad that they're there. They're small, you know, they come off easily, go back on easily. So it's fine. It's fine to me. Let me move the camera a little bit so you guys can see what it's doing. There we go. All that shaking going on. Big old print head, so we can't, there we go. Get a look at it right there. I found this print on Maker World. The creator of it didn't have like a full color version of it, so I took this into Orca Flashforge and I used the painting function there to to just paint it manually myself. And this is a really simple print to paint, so it was really easy. I just used like this blocking color function to just basically be like, the outside is black, the end in the 7 is white, and the little shape in the corner is red. So just a few clicks and it was done. And that's why this is only going to take like 22 minutes total. It's a pretty simple print. So it just cuts the filament and purges it, but doesn't need to retract the filament due to the 4 PTFE tubes. Let me read this again. I believe that's exactly what it does. Cuts it and purges it. Build volume is small, might stick with the Centauri, maybe wait for the Guider 4. I do like my 5M Pro. 5M Pro is a workhorse. I was using that recently to print certain parts of Pikachu here. So, awesome. Centauri Carbon looks very promising. When I saw that price yesterday, $299, I was like, that is crazy. I was like, well, I guess that does it for the 5M. For $299, it's hard to beat. And they also got the regular Centauri that is just like this, is not enclosed, for $199, coming out in like July or something. That is really great price. I personally had bad experiences with my Neptune 4 Pro, so hopefully the Centauri is a lot more reliable than that for me, but that's definitely one to beat. Definitely. I hope it comes with the AMS. You know, that was one of my first criticisms about it when they announced it, because they said that there wasn't going to be a multicolor system. They were just going to get right the core XY component of it, but it seems like they're kind of keeping the options open. No one is committing to saying like it will definitely come out or it definitely won't come out. They got a poop chute in the back. What else is that going to be used for? So I think they're just kind of keeping their options open just to see what happens. All right, here we go. We're about to cut. So the little thing that cuts the filament is located right there, and it just pushes the lever into it to cut the filament. And now it is purging. It's going to grab the red, and hopefully I won't have to help the red, or maybe it's going to go for the white. I'm not sure what it's going to try first. Probably the white. Yep, it's grabbing the white. Pulling in the white. And the spool is moving freely. Good. I'm just playing with a little bit of filament poop. Get yourself some retro handheld so you can print some grips. Well, I got a buddy who's like, thank you, printer, who's like really into like retro handhelds and stuff like that. I'm sure he would love those. The Retroid Pocket 5, and they're so affordable for now. So yeah, that would be cool. I always thought it would be great for like a centerpiece in your house, or like, you know, like a game room or something, to have like a glass table, and underneath it is a bunch of different handhelds. I really need to get a basket or something back here, because I'm just picking up filament poop like crazy. They sold out everywhere. Been waiting for them to be back in stock. Yeah. I think they went through whatever they were allocated for like the first batch of printers. I don't know how many there were, but I do appreciate that at least they're trying to take care of the people who bought them first to make sure that those shipments go out, as opposed to having folks wait 2.5 months to get the printer, but then only to find out that it's available on Amazon, and if you buy it right now, you can get it in 2 days. That would be pretty messed up. So hopefully they can speed things up. Yep, there's some more poop for you. There we go. Well, at least this way I can show you the amount of poop this used in the end. All right, back to the purge tower. We got the white. awesome. You know, and even if you don't really want to do multicolor printing, just being able to not worry about manually changing the filament is just a big plus to having an IFS or an AMS or a CFS or whatever other acronym another company might have for this. I'm going to lower the brightness on my phone. There we go. Because, you know, it just takes a lot of some of the monotony out of it. Yep, so I guess we're going to red now. All right. Let's see how much time is left. 78%, 5 minutes in. I feel like this white could have been done better. This white is not as deep as I would like for it to be. I can see some of that black shining through. I want it to be solid, but no, we'll see. In fact, let me show you what I'm talking about. As fast as I can here. Alrighty, you see the white right there? I mean, it's, you know, symmetrically it's fine, but I could have used another layer or two. But then again, I mean, I don't know if it's the printer or if it's the design or what, or both. It might be both. It just might be a printer. I might do another layer after the red. Maybe. That would be cool. Let me not be too judgmental. Let's just let it do its thing. But I do like to be critical, you know, not to be mean, but, you know, just to show you how it is. And criticism helps everybody. It helps us make good decisions, and it helps companies to improve their products. 1,000 hours, holy moly. I had it for 3 weeks. You had this printer for 3 weeks? Yep, that was fast. I saw on the Flashforge user forum over on Facebook, the first people that I saw get this, I think they were in Australia. I think they may be mods or just have some kind of privileged relationship with Flashforge. But when I saw those go out, and I was sitting there like, where's mine? But yeah, that's a good resource if you use Facebook, the Flashforge official users forum. It's pretty good keeping you up to date on what's going on. Folks from Flashforge will post on there occasionally as well, or just relay a message to someone who can articulate it for them. So it's always good to have that extra resource for information. You just hit 200 hours on the 5M. Yeah, man, my 5M's still going good and strong. It's the little printer that could. That I really do feel, even to this day, flies under the radar of a lot of people in the community. But you guys here, you know what's up. You know these Flashforge printers. Darn good value for the money, especially the 5M. Yeah, privilege. I mean, I'm privileged too. You know, I disclose that I didn't buy this. They sent this to me for review. So I'm just like them. I'm privileged as well. Ah, the smell of PLA. It's almost like almost like chocolate, poisonous chocolate. Here's our poop. Delicious poop. All these different colors too. We got a little bit of gray in there and a bit of pink. Good stuff. Haven't tried it with TPU yet. I am drying my TPU currently, and I am going to try it with TPU. I'm going to try to see if I can find a model. Like, I don't want to just do a benchy because it's like easier, but I'll try to find something where I can like mix the materials, something that's going to stick together. So, you know, some PLA in one area, some TPU in another area, not PETG because that doesn't stick to PLA. That end is looking, or the white's looking pretty good now. So who made the comment about it making another layer? You were correct. Let's see. What's it doing now? We at 87%. Hey, this is looking pretty good. I was getting kind of nervous, but yeah, it's looking kind of good now. All right. Is the purge waste about the same as you expect from that you see from a bamboo printer like the A1? Yeah, I think so. I'll try not to spill it over into the printer, but I wonder if you can see. That's the amount of poop that I managed to pick up off the floor. I might have missed one or two. Oh, there's another one to add to the collection. Yeah. You know, I don't know if anything's going to come of this, but some company did reach out to me that says that they have a 4-tool changer 3D printer that they are going to, I think it's like a kickstart. And they're like, hey, we'll send it to you, you can check it out. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But, you know, I don't know if anything's going to come from that. Sometimes, you know, people reach out and then they ghost. So I don't know, but that sounds very promising. I would really like to see it. 4-tool head changer, one less than Prusa. I think that's it, you guys. I think we're done here. Are we done here? Is it not done? What more do you have to do, bro? No, we're not done. It's pulling in a little bit more red. All right. Next print needs to be a poop box, definitely. Yeah, earlier I said that I found this mod that someone made over on Printables, and it is for a poop box that moves the poop over to the right-hand side of the printer. But it definitely, it needs to be something other than just a box that sits there, because this poop chute, you know, it's elevated, it's up, and then it just flicks the poop out forcefully. So like it needs to be caught as opposed to just, you know, kind of like dropping. The one they have for the A1, it's got a tall corner in it. So it's like, I should put like a little basketball hoop right there. I think that would be funny. Let's see, is anything else over here that I can show you about this printer that I might have forgotten about? I don't think so. As far as like the tools and stuff that you get, typical stuff. Cutters, get a bag of tools, tool bag with your Allen keys. Probably got like a billion of those by now. Small Phillips head. And all the little screws that you take out from the part that was keeping the screen in place. And I'm just holding on to those just in case I need them for something else. But so much poop down here. I haven't been keeping up on my job. Here we go, 4 more. Been a loyal Flashforge user and I've had every Adventurer series model, but I think I'm going to skip the AD5X because Elegoo just dropped very enticing Centauri Carbon for $300. It is enticing. I said that it was almost impulse buy territory. For $300, it's like, dude, that's pretty good. If this were 256 millimeters cubed, it would be like, you know, assuming that everything continues to work well with it and doesn't have like a lot of problems or whatever. I mean, that would just be the multicolor printer to beat. And maybe it still is if you don't need, you know, volume that big. But, you know, it just kind of depends on what you want to do. You're not going to be able to print like, if you want to do cosplay, like helmets that you can wear in one piece, you definitely can't do that. But you can do stuff like this. Like, you know, wear like a little mask. Like this is from like Marvel Rivals for Hawkeye. You can totally just get something like this and put it on. You can print that on here. That's cool. In this Pikachu that I showed earlier, print it in parts. But you could print this right here on this printer. It would just have to be in parts. So you can print the head by itself, the body by itself, the arms, the tail. And it's only like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably like 10 to 12 pieces. But you can totally do it. That doesn't look too bad. You guys can kind of see it. It's not purging the entire tube every time it changes color, right? No, not the entire tube. No. It's cutting and then it's purging, but it's not the entire tube. I'll show you how much poop it took. And you know what? I sliced this upstairs on my desktop, so I can't even tell you off the top of my head how much filament this model took versus how much purging is required in order to do it. I only looked at how long it was going to take because I was going to do this live stream. But, you know, it's going to be inefficient. It's just the virtue of how the single tool head filament swapping things are. It's going to waste filament, and you kind of just have to be cool with that, or print multiples of the small thing that you want to print and purge it into the infill or purge it into another object to just minimize the amount of waste that you have. And then you can tweak the values of it, the flushing volume in Orca Slicer. So that's a little bit tinkering that you can do if you want to just, you know, maximize your yield and not have as much waste, but you're still going to have waste. How much filament did Pikachu take? Surprisingly, like 1 roll of filament. That's how much Pikachu took. To be on the safe side, say maybe a little bit more than a single roll, but basically like 1 roll. This is a life-size Pikachu as well. And that includes the little pieces for his cheeks and his tongue and everything. Single roll of filament, pretty much. And I did it at, I think everything was 8% infill. 8%. All right, AD5X, how are we doing? Are we good? We are done. Printing complete. 27 minutes after cleaning the bed, you can click to print again. Thank you for the advice. All right. We're going to take a look at this in just one moment here. Let me try something here. All right. I'm going to take this off the bed. I'm not going to wait for it to cool off, though, you know, you should. It's a good practice. Would love a cryo grip plate. This is on there pretty good. I'm glad I didn't break it. Jeez. All right, guys. N7. Let's turn that over on the back. Ain't not bad. I'm not mad at it. What do you think? I'm gonna take this off though, this purge tower. A little pro tip, Found it easier at times. Whoopsie. Sorry if I hit you. That if you're having trouble with like little thinner pieces to pull off of the PEI plate, just use your cutters. Just get a little grip on it, pull it right up. We're just gonna keep on going. I don't know what this is. This right here on the bed, I don't know what that does. If someone knows, please let me know, because I don't know what that is for. All right, let's hear your hot takes on this N7 print. Yep, poops and a transition tower. Not bad at all, I agree. Default print settings, yes, it was at a 0.16 layer height. Have you tried ironing on the top layer? Nope, I didn't try that. I just sliced it using default settings and just let it rip. But of course, through doing little tweaks like that in the slicer, you can make things look even better, like top level or top layer ironing. Let me show you the poop. Look on the floor. Might be a little bit more poop hiding away somewhere. But this is the amount of poop that I managed to find and gather and all that stuff right there. Poop of all colors. Cool beans. All right, so now that that's done, my 5M Pro has a glacier plate. You chop down from P1S down to fit it with, wow, man. That is awesome. I love the cryo grip plates. I use Frostbite because I mostly just do PLA and some PETG. But yeah, that is like the best build plate. I love it. All right, let's do the heck clip now. Let's just keep it going. All right, and let's do this. I'm not gonna level it again. I'm just gonna jump straight back into it. Usually I level for every print, but let's just see what happens if I don't. Can you see the screen so we can see some of the, you can kind of see it. So I put the N7 keychain and the heck clip on here. This is a HueForge print for Gambit from X-Men. I'm gonna do that not on the live stream because that's gonna take like 3.5 hours. And then here are the ones that came with it. Orca plug, PLA.3MF. Actually, let me see something real quick. You know what? I got some calipers. Let me see how long it's going to take to do this cube, because we can probably just measure it. Let's just not do the leveling. Oh, wait, no, we can't do this. 3 hours and 10 minutes? What? It just looks like a regular cube. Is it a huge cube? But it said, no, all right, let's back away from this. Oh, maybe because it's multicolor. I don't know, I don't want to risk it, forget it. I'll just do a regular calibration cube at another point. So yeah, it has this one right here, which is an earphone support PLA, 5 hours and 20 minutes. The screen is pretty much the same. So, you know, if you are familiar with the somewhat fiddly screen on the 5M, in the 5M Pro, it's the same. 7 hours and 33 minutes for this multicolored fish. You see, it reminds me of those membrane screen phones from back in the day. And then we got a multicolored benchy that will take 48 minutes. And then the little coin thing that I showed you earlier. But let's do I'm gonna do the heck clip. And I don't know if I should, yeah, let's do enable IFS, why not? Not gonna level it. And it's going to be gray, because that's how I set it up in the slicer. So gray on gray. All right, let's do it. What's Ben Heck up to these days? Does anybody know? Because back in like the early 2010s, Ben Heck was like the band, doing a lot of mods for like video game stuff. I don't know what he's up to these days. Lots of filament changes indeed, you know. It kind of just depends on what you're trying to print, you know. But it is necessary for the convenience of being able to do something like this. Because if you tried to do it manually, I mean, you would just be constantly sitting by the printer and constantly changing the filament, you know, so you just got to make it worth it for yourself. For me, the biggest convenience is having the 4 spools at the ready and not needing to manually change them all the time. After a while, that just becomes such a breath of fresh air, something that you just don't have to worry about. I don't know why the cube takes so long. You know, that's why I was wondering, like, if it's a big cube, because that seemed weird. I know that it was more than one color, but at the same time, I don't know why that would warrant it being 3 hours long. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'll just do like a regular calibration cube and use the calipers to see if it's 20 millimeters on, or as close as it can be on all the sides. A review for this printer is not going to be for at least 3 weeks. You know, I really want to see what I can do with it. But in the meantime, I'll just be coming out with some other videos that just kind of show how different aspects of it works and similarities and differences between this and like the regular 5M. So I'll just keep that going. But the full review, that's going to be later. Looks like a resistive touchscreen, pressure on like capacitive. Yeah, it feels like, it's weird because like it's not as, you don't have to poke it as much as a resistive touchscreen, but it's still not as easy smooth as a capacitive touchscreen. It's a weird in between. It definitely would be easier to press, especially like little smaller parts with your like little stylus or something if you had it, but I'm tired of picking up all this poop, man. I gotta do something about this. Looks like they did all right for their first multicolor. I'm gonna get better from here. So far, from the one print that I've done that I sliced myself, it seems all right. But I didn't level it again. I'm trying to look at this heck clip. It's hard to really see because it's a light gray filament on this gold plate, but it looks all right. One thing about the 5M is I always level it before every print because I found that when I don't, from time to time, the Z would be far too low. And I don't know what is causing it to do that. Or maybe that's been fixed in a firmware update that I just never utilized. But it's kind of scarred me. So I always try to level after everything now. Looking at this first layer, let me bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see the first layer too. All right, here we go. Woo. I'm gonna kind of wait for it to sort of get out of the way. It's inching up so you can kind of see the first layers. This is not a very large print. If you can see it, let me know what you think about that. But to me, you know, it's always worth taking the extra few minutes just to be on the extra safe side for the first layer. Yeah, it does keep assaulting me with poop. Your AD5X also just arrived. Do you know what to do with those 4 wrap plastic prints in the back? Yes. So basically, those are for if you have a spool that's like really loose, it keeps it from potentially falling off of the spool holder. So you just put those on the end of the spool holder, and that will make it so that that filament will basically just not fall off. That's what those red clips are for. Aggressively tossing poop. Yeah, that's exactly what this does. Did you get a reviewer sample? Yep, that's what this one is. Bamboo has the same little gray piece on the right side of the build plate. Not sure. I don't know what it is either. If someone knows, please let us know. I have no idea what that's for. In fact, when I was looking at this in videos when they were at, man, what conference was that? I think it was some 3D printing conference in Berlin. I forgot what it was called. And it looked like there were leveling wheels underneath the bed. Those are not there. Instead, it's just, there's 4 little screws in the corner. Well, like the screw is being threaded through at the bottom. But I remember seeing wheels on the bottom of the ones that were at the show. And I was wondering, like, why are there leveling wheels underneath this thing? But yeah, those are gone. So guess it's of no consequence now. Chris, did you get any notification that yours had shipped yet? I'm not sure if you said that in the chat or not. Because since you pre-ordered yours in November, I was hoping that they gave you some kind of update by now. I just wish they would open up the sale of it. Yeah. Yeah, oh, it's arrived. Okay, awesome. Yeah, there's a gray piece on the right side of the bed. Once this stops, I'll show, well, actually, I can show you now. I keep forgetting. I can move the camera. I'm so used to not moving a camera when I do videos. All right, so can you see right there on the bed? It's like a weirdly oblong rectangle on the right side. Don't know what that is. And it stays there even if you take the build plate off. Not sure. But these are questions that I can just always relay back to Flashforge and just ask them, like, yo, what is this? And I'm sure they'll tell me. Head clip is working out just fine. I remember when my parents had came over here when I still had the Ender 3, and you know, they were just really amazed at, like, you can make stuff out of plastic on a machine. And head clip is what I printed out, and on the Ender 3, I think it took like 2 hours to print on the Ender 3. And I was just like, you know, just stay over here a little bit longer so this can finish printing so you can take it home with you. But now you get the same thing done in 20 something minutes. That's awesome. What you got here? Cable cover for the heated bed. Maybe. But it's just so strange because that's not on the 5M or the 5M Pro, so that's why it just kind of took me. Like, why is that there? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't know what's the best practices for this kind of thing, but your guess is far better than anything that I can come up with, which is 0 that I can come up with. It's 2 a.m. Oh, have a good night, Barry. Get some sleep. It is 9:08 where I am, Eastern. It's got a notification on my phone. See who this is. Oh, I got a YouTube notification 51 minutes ago saying that Aurora Tech has a review up on the Everyone Thinker 400 by 400 by 400 fully enclosed Core XY 3D printer. I think Uncle Jesse did a video about that. I was actually kind of impressed. I didn't know everyone did printers. I thought it was just a filament company, but it didn't look too bad. In fact, it didn't look bad at all. It's pretty good, depending on, you know, what the price is going to be and crowdfunding. So you got that going on, but I liked it. I liked the way that it looked, and the prints were pretty decent too, and it's fast. I am leaving the Super Racer for either the 5M or the AD5X. Oh, the Fulson Super Racer. I got a Fulson T1 Pro. I don't think you can kind of see it right here. Had to put that thing in the corner. It's so darn big. And I've blessed it with the Omnissiah, with the purity seal. So It should never break, ever. I would like to see printer inform you which color filaments are required on which spool holder. So a comparison between the T1 and the 5M, that thing is massive. It is so massive. It's, and the crazy thing is, despite it being so big, it doesn't give you as much build volume as you might think that it's going to give you. Even with, even if you don't include the Z, if you just include everything else, because it's a circle on that build plate, there are times when you cannot fit, take like a certain helmet or something. If it's like a square, you won't be able to fit it on the circular build plate. But if you had like a 256 cube printer, like a Bamboo Lab printer or whatever, it would fit there. But because it's a circle, even though technically you get more millimeters, but the actual use of the build plate that you get is less, depending on the shape of the object that you're trying to print. And that's one thing that I found out, and I was like, that is crazy. So just because it says that it's bigger, it's all about what you can do with it, right? But for the most part, my experience with the T1 Pro has been, it's been pretty good for the most part. I still think that it can be a bit too fast for its own good when it comes to supports and knocking supports off of the print bed. Even with Z-Hop enabled, it can still be an issue. But the sheer amount of time that you can crank something out. I mean, I've printed things on there in like 5 hours that would normally take like 11 hours on like the 5M, for example, with a 4mm nozzle. So depending on what you want to print, that speed is hard to deny. Deltas don't diagonal well, but they're so fun to look at. Online says that little gray piece is for a LiDAR sticker for calibration on the Bamboo X1. So what's this gray piece for then? This doesn't have LiDAR. Printed steel burner on my Q5. This thing is shaking this table. Also, on the back of the tool head, it is completely exposed. It does not have a cover that just covers everything. You can see the little metal bits and pieces exposed on the back. And I guess that's because when it goes to purge the poop, it has this little cutout right here that it just snugly fits into. So I guess they couldn't put anything back there. I hope that doesn't become an issue for like dust and other particles to get in there and cause problems. Or maybe the community will just, make something, be like, hey, snap this onto the back of your AD5X tool head in whatever color you want. It's doing a pretty good job. Stealth burner, okay. One printer brand that I would love to try that I haven't been able to is Tech. Besides Flashforge having like really great value, I think that they do as well, especially for heated chambers and the build volume. And I think they also are going to have a multicolor filament system, multi-material filament system coming out at some point as well. I would love to try one of their printers. I'm just crunching this filament. Only been into printing since I got my Adventure 5M for Christmas. Loving it. Going to look at the AD5X in a few months for doing HueForge stuff. I am going to do HueForge stuff tonight. That's going to be after the stream. I'm doing a Gambit HueForge. It's going to require white, black, gray, and purple filament. We'll see how that turns out. It's going to take like 3.5 hours to do. And then tomorrow I'll try some TPU stuff. I'm going to see how long it can take to do something relatively small with multicolored TPU, since it is going to print a lot slower. And if the time isn't too restrictive, then I might just do that on a live stream as well, especially if I can combine some PLA with TPU. Just got to find the right model to try that on. Like if it was like say like a Pikachu head, that I can do the bottom of the head in PLA, and then maybe I can do the ears in TPU. You know, something that maybe won't require a constant back and forth switching, and see how well it sticks and interacts with each other. Let's see, Google AI says, so you know it's right, the plastic piece that sticks on the side of 3D printer build plate is usually called the bed leveling sensor or auto leveling sensors used by the printer to automatically detect the exact height of the build plate, ensuring the first layer of the print adheres properly by adjusting the nozzle distance accordingly. Makes sense? What are your impressions on the filament and reel placements, i.e. side mounted versus back mounted or on top? Is the side mount good enough? And then Creality came out with a plate that should fit the 5M Pro that's low temperature. Ooh, nice. All right, so my impressions on the spool holder on the side. I like this. I can already tell you that this is easier to deal with than the AMS Lite, because that's the only multi-filament system that I got experience with. Even though my AMS Lite is on top of the printer, so it naturally makes getting to the rear spools a bit of a pain because it's kind of pushed up against the wall. But even if I had it in its original configuration, just side by side with the printer, as great and as effective as it is kind of messy in a way, you know? I think that the regular AMS, the CFS, and what Anycubic has with its, what do they call it? The Ace Pro. I like that whole box, that contained box that you can just put on top, and it just kind of seamlessly integrates itself with the printer. But if it has to be open and exposed like this, I do like the side mounted because it's just so much easier to get to. Far easier to get to and far easier to work with. And I think that Flashforge was really trying to push print farm usage with this kind of a printer. And so they were saying that with something like this, you have on a big shelving unit and you're able to place multiple ones side by side by side by side, and you won't have that awkwardness that you might have with the competitor, which in this case, I think they were taking aim at the A1. So I like this. It's not the prettiest thing. You know, it does look like it's like, hey, I got a great idea. This is how we can put a filament system on here and not have to come up with a whole new complex thing. So it's not the prettiest integration, but it's working. And I guess, like, hey, do you want it to just print well, or do you want it to look pretty on the shelf? What we got here, it's crazy how fast it is compared to my 3 Max Neo with the Sprite Pro and Sonic Pad. Makes it feel really slow. Yeah, things are really just moved along quickly, very, very quickly. Makes you wonder if they will retrofit the 5M. I don't think they will. I know they've been asked that a whole bunch, and basically they're saying that there's too much that they changed to that it just wouldn't be feasible to upgrade the 5M to be able to do this. It would be too many things that you would have to change, and it could be cost prohibitive. But we'll see. I don't know. AMS top of the P1S is nice, but still has its issues. What kind of issues do you have with the AMS? Is it getting like jammed or something like that? Can you put the filament system on either side or just the right? Just the right. Just the right. They've got special cutouts that are specifically for the spools on, well, the left if you're on the back, the right if you're standing in front. Yep, you can only put it on this side. That's what you gotta do. And then they got these stickers to tell you, because you have to have the correct numbered spool in the correct spot. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you couldn't just grab any old spool out the box and just stick it wherever. They're like, you gotta make sure it's in the right number. I'll just take the word for it. Looks like we should be almost done with this. Let me see how much longer this will take. We're at 79%, only 4 minutes remaining. Awesome. If you guys are curious, in this garage, the temperature is currently 57 degrees Fahrenheit. So 57 degrees out here, open frame. The bed is set to 60 degrees Celsius, and it's got a pretty good grip on that build plate. In case you're curious about the ambient temperature. We went old school yesterday and broke out the Ender 2 non-pro. Oh my goodness, how did that work out? Yeah, I did something similar like a year ago with the Ender 3. And after about an hour, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I am done. I think I was talking down about this printer a little too much. It seems like a really good machine so far, and it's sounding better now. And maybe maybe just needs to be broken in a little bit, maybe. You know, it's just something we'll see over time. I'll keep that in mind though, when I do the review, like 3 or 4 weeks from now, remembering how it sounded when it first started and however it's going to sound at that time, and see if anything is significantly different or the same. But you know, still got to do things like, you know, tolerance tests and whatnot. I think I'll print another torture toaster on here just to see how everything moves together, and of course the calibration cubes, flexi dragons just to make people mad, and other types of filaments as well. Can you do a weight test on the key ring you printed and the poop it made? Oh, man, if I can remember where my scale is, because I do have a scale. Tell you what, I'm gonna step away for maybe about a couple minutes. I'm gonna see if I can find my scale. And if I do, I'm gonna come back and I'll show you how much the poop weighs. But the mic is still connected to my shirt, so you can probably still hear me. And if you hear my kids screaming upstairs, just know that they're kids and they scream, and that's just what happens. But I am going to see if I can find my scale here in this. Oh, here it is. Nice. Okay. Now I just need something to put it in. This might work. I feel like Tom Hanks in Castaway. This could work. All right. I'm back. Here's my scale, used for completely legal purposes only. All right, let's take this off. If I can remember how do you take this off? You can tell I don't use my scale often. Come on, scale. There we go. All right, so let's turn this on. Still got battery power. Let me put this on and we're going to zero it out. Hey, it's done. Great. Now make the table not shake. All right, so first I'm going to weigh the N7. Actually, I need to change the, let me change the units. All right, so we're gonna put it in grams. Let me zero it out again. All right, so here's the N7. N7 is 5 grams. Zero this out again, and let's throw the poop in here. .9 grams. 5 grams versus 4 point. Oh, it just crossed over to 5. It just crossed over to 5. 5 grams of this, 5 grams of poop. Well, at least we broke even. All right. It was slow, but did the job. Came at the weight. One for the AD5X. Want to get your opinion on it first. Or the reason I have 2 5M printers now. Awesome. I hope that you're enjoying them. Now I'm going to show the heck clip. Also notice that the bed does not reset after every print. This is what the 5M did in the very beginning, and then through an update, it eventually would reset itself after every print. Not a big deal though. All right, get the heck clip off the plate. Oh, I need to get that purge line before I forget. There we go. Also, about this purge line, it's much thinner than it is on the 5M or the 5M Pro. It's usually like a good, solid, non-flowy piece from a purge line, but this is much thinner, as if it were like a silk PLA or something. But anyway, heck clip, very effective for your chips. Here's the back. Back, sides, and the top. I love these things. Perfect for bags of chips or whatever else you may have. All right, dragging you back. Those are the only 2 files that I have sliced up to show you guys in this live stream here today. I ain't got nothing else. So I'm just gonna read back through the chat. Pro's definitely worth the money. Love the Dino chip clip. It's my new test print. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know, instead of just printing benchies all the time, I mean, let's just try to print stuff for the first time that, you know, can actually use. It'd be different if the benchies could float, but they don't float, which is just so strange. But it is public domain now. That was a big thing a few weeks ago. Everybody was upset about the benchy, but now everything is fine now. The chip clip is on Thingiverse. It is on Thingiverse. So you probably just type in heck clip, H-E-C-K. In fact, I got a computer right here. I can just probably just put it in the freaking chat so you can see it. Well, it looks like heck clip would not be the right word. Ben heck clip? Ben heck's chip clip. Yeah. Man, Thingiverse is just really showing its age. It is not kept up. All right, there you go. Ben Hex chip clip. There's the link. Do resin benchies float if you give it a V-hole? I've never tried to print a resin benchy. I've never tried that. It's interesting. Print roses for the wife for Valentine's. Oh, that's nice. Did you print it in silk PLA? Give it that little extra sheen. Let me see if there's like anything in these settings or anything else I can tell you about this before I wrap it up. Oh, okay. So, you know, I think that this still runs like that lockdown version of Clipper. I think. I'm not 100% because the last printers did that as well. And you do get the, you know, when you log into your internet, your LAN, you get the IP address. But if you type that IP address into your web browser, you're not going to be taken to any kind of interface where you can control the printer remotely. So it's not going to be Fluid or Mainsail or some other version of that Flashforge created. It's just not going to take you anywhere. So I really wish that wasn't the case, because that interface is very helpful. Even if you don't want to do complex stuff, I just like having the option there, but you cannot do it with this, just like you couldn't do it with the other printers. From Orca Flashforge, you can do a little bit of that, but you know, it's not the same. It's not the same. Let's see, this is let me bring you a little bit closer. This is the interface of when you want to change the filaments out. So it's got an arrow here for the extruder going down. So that's when you want to load your filament. And then when you want to swap it, it's got this other option here that you press and it will retract the filament. So you just pick which one you want to interact with, and then you can either put it in or you can take it out. And then when you want to switch the color of filament that you're using, you edit it whenever you want. So you just hit that little pencil icon there. You can choose what type of filament it is. PLA, ABS, PETG, TPU, PLA carbon fiber, PETG carbon fiber, or silk are the options currently. And then you have some colors that you can pick. And my guess is, depending on what color that you pick, it helps it to figure out how much purging it might need to do in order to get that clear or clean transition between. How the heck do you go back? I guess you have to pick a color. All right, black. I wish there was just an arrow that you can go back. I mean, what if I forgot? There's nothing there. Oh God. Okay, so there's that. And there's nothing, I don't know what this is. I need to find that out. You see, like in the middle, that one is grayed out. I'm not sure what that is. And then just some tips and tricks. They tell you don't use the same nozzle for PLA that you use for PETG, but I mean, come on, seriously, who actually does that? Print menu is still the same. The USB port is on the side of the screen, just like it was before. I'm turning my computer around just to see if anyone says anything. You love your 5M. The 5X looks so cool. Awesome. How'd you get the 5X? It says sold out everywhere. Because I am a privileged YouTuber and they sent me this. That's how I got it. I did silk dual colors and chameleon colors. This is the only multi-material printer that can print TPU. Yeah, they were, see, that's the thing. They were pushing that and then it disappeared from the website. So I'm wondering if that had anything to do with the issues that they were having with the poop chute that caused it to be delayed in the first place. I don't know, but I am going to test it. So we'll see how it works. Someone on the forums on Facebook, they did get a jam or a clog. They tried to use a flexible filament, not, it wasn't TPU. It was another type of filament. I forgot what they said it was. It wasn't TPU, but it was something that was actually quite flexible, and that caused an issue. But they said the TPU worked just fine for them, but that flexible filament that they used didn't. So we'll have to look into that as well. I do PETG support interfaces all the time. That's something else that I want to do too. PLA with PETG interfaces and see how that works out with this. I got some really good PETG from Inslogic. It's black, very good PETG. Better than the Bamboo Lab High Flow PETG. How do you become a privileged YouTuber? Just a regular YouTuber? I mean, luck, and also just you just got to be consistent in what you're doing. Picking a lane and staying in it. Even figure feedback is only a couple of years old, but you know, I've been doing YouTube videos for many years and made some mistakes and learned some things along the way. The biggest thing that I learned is you pick a niche, you pick a lane, and you stay there and you find out what your strengths are and you only play to your strengths. Like, that's why I don't try to go into things that are like really, really technical, because that's not my strength. I can't do things where I'm measuring like the force of things that it takes to break or using different types of filaments to see which one is going to work best in, you know, space engineering. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to tear something down and put it back together and mod it like crazy. That's not my strength. My strength is keeping things simple and practical to make it as easy to understand for the biggest audience possible. And then the rest hopefully will just come. Was the guy, Aussie Viking was the guy in the Facebook group. He has a few videos. Yeah, there are some videos there that I found to be really interesting. You're curious if the Flashforge camera for sale on Amazon is compatible with the AD5X. I was wondering that too, because when this was first announced, I think I had like a PDF of a manual or something, like a Google Drive link that they had sent me. And I think there it said that it would be. But again, I think I saw on Facebook in the Flashforge group that that camera wasn't compatible. So now I just don't know. I would hope that it is, but I just don't know. I'm looking, like, where would you plug it in? I'm not sure. Another thing to look into, these are all like great topics to try to cover in like future videos. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Dad. Finally, some appreciation from Dad. So the same thing in the Facebook group, you're waiting further confirmation. Yeah, there's a lot of different questions yet to be answered about this particular printer here. I feel like there was something I was going to say, but I can't remember now. That tends to happen. Maybe if I hydrate, I can figure it out. Oh yeah, so on the, well, it doesn't say it on the build plate, but it does have like the ABS, right, option that you can print on here. Though that's always been kind of weird because it's not enclosed, and you know, an ABS benefits from that. And also, you shouldn't be breathing that in, those ABS fumes. You know, there's no way to exhaust the open frame. So I'm not sure why that's recommended or why they say, yeah, you can totally print ABS on there. I would take caution if you're going to be doing that on this printer, just for yourself. And ABS stinks. All right, it stinks and it's not good to breathe. 5M plug was on the back of the touchscreen for the camera. How difficult do you think it would be to add an enclosure? I said it earlier, I don't know how that is possible with this on the side. I don't know how you would, I mean, the enclosure would, I feel like it would be jutting out more on this side than it would on that side. I'm sure it's possible. The Mars rover is still there and we watched it happen. So it's possible to do an enclosure on there. There's someone clever enough. But in my mind, I don't know. How would an enclosure work on this with these on the side? It's weird. Someone has got to figure it out. I looked on their wiki, the Flashforge wiki. They currently do not have the AD5X as far as like different mods that you can do to print on it or recommended things that you can print for it like they do with the Adventure 5M, but it's still early days. So things have to be still worked out. For example, firmware updates. If I go to the firmware and I try to update the firmware here from the touchscreen, it will constantly say that it's checking and it will never actually find anything and it never times out. So that's something that has to be addressed. I tried to update the IFS. It said it was updating and it said the update was complete, but it didn't actually show the progress of it updating and the version number didn't change. So, you know, there's still bugs that need to be worked out here. Firmware can transfer restore files, memory stick, and USB. Yeah. And it didn't come with a USB stick, if you're wondering about that. That's one thing that it also didn't come with. It did not come with a USB stick. Thank you for the subscription. Watts and Hertz. Thank you very much. I feel like I'm stalling a little bit here because I'm trying to think of something else. Because, you know, usually when you stop a conversation and you think like, man, that's what I should have said when I still had them here. That's what I'm going over in my mind. So I'm just looking at everything, thinking that I'm forgetting to mention something back here. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm looking on the back, making sure there's nothing different here. There was no voltage switch. You know, some printers have those voltage switches that you have to switch depending on where you live in the world, so you don't, you know, like blow something out. But there was no such thing here, so I didn't have to worry about that. Let's see what else. There's these green lights. You can't see it even if I turned it. On the side of the AMS, I don't know what they're for. Maybe it's just there to tell you if things are good and it turns red if things are bad, but it is there. Looking, anything else? Nah, I think that's just about it. Tightening the belts is the same as it is on the regular Adventurer 5M, because, you know, a lot of the design is still the same. So should you need to tighten the belts, you still got that easy access right there and right there for adjusting your tension. So you can still do that. Easy enough. Chances are you won't have to. I've never had to do that, but you know, it is what it is. And then you got these spots that I'm assuming you can just put filters in. I'm gonna open up one of these doors so that you can see it. It's getting colder in here too. Right back here. Well, let me move the bed down first. Let me move the bed down. Let's just home it. Yes, it's still squeaking a bit as it moves. All right, you done? All right, we're done. So yeah, you still pop this door open. Nothing's in there, but you know, I'm assuming that's where your filters go if you had filters. There's two of them down there. So that's the same. Oh God, I've broken it from the 5M. Awesome. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. So if you guys got any last questions or comments or whatever, I will read those off, and then I will start up this 3-hour Hue Forge and edit the video of me putting it together that I'm gonna try to put out probably tomorrow. You never had good luck with eSun Filament? Oh, that sucks. I've had great luck with eSun Filament. eSun Filament's been good. I also like, what else do I use besides eSun? Because I use a lot. Sunlu's Filament has also been good. Elegoo PLA Pro is also quite good. They have a sub-brand called Deeply, and some Deeply filaments can be cheaper than Elegoo. Some of them are pretty much the same. Deeply filament in like basic colors like black, you can get for like $10.99, which is pretty good. And I did a video about Deeply filament. I think I put that out like a day or something ago. Let's see, what else filament brand? I got a little bit of experience with Polyterra filament, Polymaker filament. That's been very good. I want to get more of it. And then Bamboo Labs regular PLA, not the high flow PETG, but Bamboo Labs regular PLA has also been quite good. Elegoo PLA Rapid, that and Rapid PETG. I think that that's also good from Elegoo. Though I don't think that it's as good as regular PETG, because I think there's some trade-offs between having it rapid and having it low and slow, but it's still pretty good. I got a birdhouse that I printed in green Rapid PETG. Has been outside for more than a year, and sweltering hot heat, torrential downpours, and unusual Georgia snow. Well, maybe not North Georgia, but snow nonetheless. And it's still hanging out fine. It's not cracked or broken. No birds moved in, but it still looks good. Overture. I haven't tried Overture before. Thank you, Dad. Overture Black. Awesome. I want to try Cookie CAD. It's pretty expensive though, but people say good things about Cookie CAD filament. I would like to try Cookie CAD's filament. And I think they sell that at Micro Center as well. But Micro Center's in Marietta, so I'm not up there, down there as often anymore. So I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. So if you are new here, you have not subscribed, and you want to see just this type of stuff for the Adventure or the AD5X, be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to create another playlist specific to this printer, covering everything that I can think of, and then things that, you know, you guys leave here in the chat or the comments of other videos, so I can let you know all about that. And that will all be leading up to eventually the review, which will be sometime in March, like 3-4 weeks from now. So I'm going to be doing the same thing that I did with the regular Adventure 5M. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all for coming out to check out this stream, and I'll keep you updated on what is going on. All right, so stay tuned for tomorrow's video for the unboxing and all of that other good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna walk back behind the phone and turn everything off. Thank you, Barry. Yes, more to come. And like I said, if I decide to do something with TPU, if it won't take too long to do multi-material with TPU, then I'm going to do that in another live stream. But I'll make sure to announce it this time instead of just, you know, popping up on you guys out of nowhere. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.